Okay guys, this is Cruise Roy on the Explorer 4.0 V6. I'm going to try to get the ladder back on today. The only thing I want to explain is you'd have to dig these little rubber pieces out of this crank. I didn't do it. They're almost flush. On the new gasket I just left a little bit of a tab, because otherwise you got to take this main cap bearing off and kind of do it all at once. And I didn't want to get involved with touching the crank, so I'm hoping that the RTV is going to take over in those spots, and I might put a bead around the whole thing just as a sealant, but I'm going to put some here, definitely on the other side. Just bear with me, this might take some time. This is where you got to adjust the ladder and everything. But I'm hoping this don't fail here. Just gotta put a little bit out this way. But I want to just put a line. Kind of right where that rubber rests off the gasket. I don't think it had any before, but it looked like it had some kind of Indian head on it. Something like that. Some kind of gasket sealant. Nowadays everybody uses high heat. But just a little guide. Don't want too much, it'll give you too much space on the gasket. Torqued everything down, it needs to be torqued, just double check everything. And like I said, I cut the little nibs off that's supposed to tuck into that cap bearing, but I didn't want to get involved with that. Just going to hope for the best here. Line up your pins. Now, like I said, this whole ladder, now this has to be pressed in, so make sure you got it started before you start tightening up. Like I said, I hope that RTV, by the time it dries and gets compressed in there, I did leave some little nibs to fit in the holes. Hopefully they go in the right position. Okay, now the ladder itself, I'm going to put a little tiny bead on before I throw it on. I'll be over here. Alright, now I just put a little bead of the black RTV everywhere. Because there's a little lubricant right now while I drop this. Make sure those set screws are all the way up. Okay. Just watch out for the front there. There's a little bit of that rubber up front too. Alright, I'm going to have to do a little adjustment, but let me get the bolts in here. Of course, it's the Torx where I'm going to put all the sealant. The reason it has to be aligned, even with these bolts in when they're snug, this oil pan shifts all over the place. You can kind of find where you had it just from the old marks, unless you repaint the motor or something, but you can actually see the old marks where it was sitting. And if you line them up with that, you're probably going to be pretty close. But I think it's mostly, I thought it was a transmission problem, but I think it's mostly in the front where the water pump is. If this isn't in the right place, I don't know if you can see what I'm pointing at. If this isn't in the right position, your cover's going to fit crooked. You know, you figure with all these high tolerances, they would have did a little better job than that. But you can see the size of the hole and the size of the nuts. It gives you a little bit of room to slide it around. And I'll probably snug them up before I torque them down. Okay, I'm just going to find my extension and socket. Putting everything away every night kind of sucks because then you're back looking for everything. But I'm just going to snug everything down because I think you're supposed to do cap bearing ones first, get them tightened down. And I'm just going to bring these down flush. Still have to get some plugs and wires for this thing. They broke on the removal. But when I get this snug, I'm going to show you how easy this ladder moves around, even with the bolt snug. Okay, I'm going to show you this. And see how easy it moves. It's funny, this side it's flush, the other side of the motor it's overhanging. But that's what they're talking about. See, I can move it back further. I don't know if you can see it on film, but it also moves forward. So the whole thing is getting it lined up properly. And like I said, if you follow the scratches on your oil pan, you're going to be pretty close. Figured if I have to, I'll put the front cover on. Remember, you got a thickness of a gasket too. But I'm just kind of looking at your washer scratches, where they were. You can pretty much get it right back where it was. So I get the Torx snug down here. Looking for my other socket thing here. Like I said, I want you to align this with the block. I'm going to try to follow all my little marks that were left by the hex heads, because you got to pretty hard to get this off the motor. I'm going to toss the front cover on just for giggles and see if it fits okay before I tighten everything. I'll have to edit the film so it looks a little longer than me. I'm just being careful with this. They say you can screw it up. Let me find the front cover. Alright, here's your front cover. We're still going to change the seal, but I think that's what they're concerned about with this lining up. That it should line up with your holes here when it's together. And you just got to imagine a gasket in there. So it looks like it's pretty good. Because even this thing has a little play. But that's probably what they're talking about. We're going to go for it.